Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success, one adventure at a time. Welcome back to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by House Call Pro, where service owners come to explore ways to take charge and level up. We are your hosts. I'm Kevin Fontaine, and this is my brother from another barbecue, Patrick Harders. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen to wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Patrick, how you doing today?
I'm great. Love the idea of the barbecue. That's one of my getaways each weekend, is smoking something on the grill. If something's not dead and smoking on the grill, I'm not enjoying the weekend.
Did you smoke it out this weekend?
I just did ribs. Ribs is kind of a go-to. But I think I do it so much that the family's like not excited that Dad's cooking ribs again.
It's like, God dang it, ribs again, damn. We actually went to a barbecue cook-off Friday night, and really cool, man. Talked to one of the barbecue vendors. Of course, they stay overnight because their competition is Saturday.
Yeah.
But he had 3 different kinds of grills to use based on what he's cooking.
Yeah. And
he showed off some of his equipment, man. They got some cool shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was against the whole pellet movement. I had the big smoker, the egg, the, Blackstone, all that stuff. And finally I broke down, got a pellet, and I'm like, it's so damn easy.
Yeah. I want to look into getting one of those.
Yeah. Yep. It's a game changer. Sit there on your phone and adjust the temp.
Speaking of barbecuing, we got a killer topic today for you guys. It's about the sales process, selling the sizzle, not the steak.
Yeah.
And that's a big huge deal in what we do as service pros. Is I think we get so tied up into just showing a product and saying, here, buy it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so, you get caught up in like what we get excited about. Like so much of our sales process is our own mental head trash. And we get excited either about a new product and you sell the crap out of that new product and forget about the old things. Yeah. Or you get into the features and benefits and you just go into jargon that means nothing to a customer.
To them. They're like, what? You said VA, you said Lumen.
I was doing a video chat with a customer. I'm going through all these different ideas of things we could do in lighting. And I had one of my guys next to me and he's like, do you know one thing Pat forgot to mention is we have a multi-variable lumen output on a light. You just see their eyes glazing over and I'm like,
yeah, really. They're checked out.
Yeah, I didn't forget to mention that. They don't care.
Exactly. So, there was a famous salesman who kind of coined this phrase back in I think the 40s, 50s. Mm-hmm. His name was Elmer Wheeler, and he coined the phrase, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle.
Yeah.
He also says an interesting thing. I think he's got videos online. Check him out. But it's not so much what you want to say as a salesman. It's what the customer wants to hear that's important in that sales process.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. When, so like you just said, head trash, you're so gung-ho and you just vomit how great you are or how great your company is. Customers don't care about that BS. Yeah. They want to know value and what it means for them.
Totally. And I think, we get so excited. Like, I think a lot of times in the sales process, when we're not confident and not good, we rely on customers liking us. And we think that's the reason they're buying, which there is a sense like people buy from people they like, but don't use that as your crutch. And you are painting a picture. Like, for me, it's lighting. So, I'm not talking about like what the light's going to do on the tree and everything. I'm like, imagine sitting back on your patio this weekend. Your friends are all out. The sun just set. It's a perfect night. Beautiful out. And all of a sudden the lights come on and it just transforms everything. It's relaxing. It's comfortable. Yeah. That's what they're buying, is the idea of like what it's doing for them. Like what's going to be the end feel of it.
Exacto.
And it's not, check out this light. It does X, 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 and X. It's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that gets in kind of the first part of this element. Let's break down this process of selling the sizzle. Mm-hmm. Features versus benefits. What Pat just mentioned there is, you got features of a product or service. It's what your product or service is, the technical specifications of it, the list of functionalities, but then you go over to the benefit side of it, how your product or service helps the customer. This is solving a problem. This is improving their life somehow. This fulfills a certain desire in that product or service.
Yeah, and the features and benefits, when you're presenting it, it is from the standpoint of the problem you're solving for the customer. So back when I was like 18 years old and I sold Cutco, I watched guys get excited like, hey, this is a nickel alloy silver rivet. And the customer's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And it's like, but you tell the story, like, if you ever had a knife that the rivet came out and then the whole thing's wobbly and crappy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You use the right construction, that doesn't happen. They don't really care what the material's made out of. And we do that in everything we do. Like if you're doing lawn service and you're going to treat the weeds, like you could get all into depth about like what the chemical is and everything else.
Yeah.
Watch the customer's eyes glaze over, but it's like, hey, if you want to have that perfect green lawn with the lines in it on Friday, this is what we're going to need to do. It's going to be, treating it and taking care of it. So it's like, even your features and benefits have to be done with the standpoint of this is the problem. The reason that I'm going through this is a problem that it's solving.
Yeah. Features are great and they certainly should be in your sales presentation, but you got to put in the benefits. That's part of that Sizzle where it's solving a problem. It's improving something in their life, and it goes beyond just factual information about your service or product. It actually brings their life into it and how it benefits them. And like Pat mentioned, a healthy lawn, if you're a lawn care provider, hey, this is our 6-step program. Not only does it, keep your lawn green and fresh and weed free, but it will help you save watering. So then now you're bringing in a benefit, like your watering bill is going to go down because we do XYZ, where you point back to a feature. See? So it's benefit, feature, and they love to hear that type of salesmanship.
Yeah, that's so important. And really, I think on your presentation, you have to actually prep on your presentation. Like you don't just wing it. We've all done that, but it's like you should have like your main points that you want to get across, and that's what you're doing. But I think the next biggest thing is like knowing your audience.
Okay.
I remember meeting with like an 80-year-old guy, and I was all excited with the LEDs. I had this product that had a 15-year warranty. So I'm going on and on, like, there's no problems here. He looked at me, he's like, I'm 80 years old. I don't care about a 15-year warranty. Like, I'm not going to be, I'm living in this house 3 more years. That wasn't the selling point. And so, what is the customer looking for? So that's like one of the big questions you ask right at the beginning, like, hey, why am I here?
Yeah.
Just sit back. Like, what's your vision? What are you thinking? What is it why did you call me today?
Exactly. And knowing your audience, like audience members, your client members are all different, so you may have one that's very conscious about shopping pricing.
Yeah.
They'll always tell you, I'm getting a few bids today and I wanted to call you guys. Yeah. And so you categorize them as the tire kicker. Okay. So your vocabulary to them is going to be totally different than an affluent business pro who was on a referral to you. Now you're going to target and investigate him and find out what he believes in order to make that sale to him.
Yeah. And be willing to ask questions. Like the best advice I've heard is if you had $1 million in the bank account, how would you act on the sales process? So if if I have $1 million in the bank account, someone's like, well, I'm going to get 4 bids, the natural question I would ask is like, what are you hoping to get out of that? Like, why are you having 4 people out? Because it's not fun. You have one guy that doesn't show up, one guy that's going to take 2 weeks to get you an estimate. Like, what do you hope to get out of having 4 different people come out?
Yeah. What's the reasoning for that?
It's usually, I don't want to get taken advantage of. I don't know this. So the way I'm going to learn is have 4 different people present and then go from there. Like, then I have some idea of what I'm looking for.
There's some validity to that. People that are just now getting into certain said product or service and have no idea. Sure. I mean, but when they built their house, did they get 10 bids for that? Probably not. They walked into a neighborhood and liked it. They saw a product they like or a builder they liked, and they developed that relationship with that one person. So I think our selling advantage is giving them perception and value ahead of time of the sale. And with videos that you shoot up on YouTube, etc., Facebook, on your homepage website. Let them get to know you a little bit beforehand. So already you got that foot in the door, so to speak, before you even get there and talk price and all that shit.
Well, and I've done it. I mean, if you've done home improvement, it's like all of a sudden you got to become an expert on what you're doing, because you want to do the job once, and you also want to make sure you're not overpaying. Like if I'm buying a crepe myrtle and it's $900 from one guy and $200 from another guy, like what's the difference? And so I'm trying to educate myself. So on my social media, on the videos I create, I want to provide, if I keep getting questions, I'm writing those down. I'm like, I'm going to have those questions, and I'll even send them to customers before we go out. Like, hey, here's 5 questions you may consider about outdoor lighting or about, whatever service you're doing that most people have. And those are going to be the ones that people are educating themselves on.
Hell yeah. And you definitely, and that goes back to that features part. So as we're breaking down our bids, list out all those details of, hey, you get X amount of feet of this, or you get this kind of preparation, or you get so many details I think are missed in these other competitors. They're not going to list as much detail as you. You're going to really provide a nice picture to that customer. So there's no like ifs, that's, and what ifs type situation. So you're very clear in your presentation.
Yeah. And on your proposals, you're very clear on that proposal. Like you're writing everything out. There's no questions. And it's just something you say to someone, like, I want to remove all the guesswork out of this because I need this to move smoothly.
Yeah.
And, it's protecting you. It's protecting me. I want to have everything built into the proposal correctly, and not just like put down on a napkin, like we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
But planning it all out.
That's too informal, especially for higher ticket sales items. And another thing I'll throw in there too, Pat, is knowing your audience also elevates your vocabulary. Forget the tire kickers because they're in a class all by themselves. Their buzzwords are coupons, promos, value.
Yeah.
That's your buzzwords there. But some buzzwords for the affluent customers who are shopping less, they're investigating you more before they call you. You're going to get into more design, custom, sustainable, energy efficient, elevate your values and vocabulary. That way, anytime you're talking to those clients, which are, by the way, your blue ocean clients that we want you to get. So,
and don't get caught up so much in jargon either, because we could all do it. And like, I could sit there and go on, and it's a sign of somebody that's not confident. And, you should have the ability to not only understand exactly what you're trying to get across, but do it at a level that, someone who's brand new and doesn't know about your service understands what you're saying. We could get into the jargon and it means nothing to the customer. So you want to really go through that. But, from like a lighting standpoint, there may be some people that they're looking for safety, security. There may be someone that's looking for the aesthetics, the front of the house. So there's a lot of different things. So that's that probing question at the beginning. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Overall, what would make this a successful project? Like, what would you like to see happen?
Yeah. And really knowing your client and their needs is awesome. Yeah. And this gets into the focus on some type of emotional connection.
Yeah. People
buy based on emotion and justify with logic. So tell stories that evoke positive emotions, highlight the transformative process of your service or products, and facts and figures are important, but emotions help drive that buying decision. So use some storytelling. Pat, when I was, this, but when I was in landscaping, we did lighting and it was an add-on for us. I never got trained for it. I just saw it at a Site One or wherever and picked it up and then installed it. But we had, if I'm telling this story to someone today and I'm trying to evoke some emotion in them, this client, I would say, lighting changed my life. Back when I was a lighting installer, I had my grandparents over for dinner and I thought the lighting was sufficient for the front walkway. It had this step in the middle of the walkway that was hard to see at night. Apparently my path lighting was a little too far apart, maybe a little too dim, and it cast a little bit of a shadow on some of the steps there. And my grandmother-in-law actually fell and went to the hospital. So that was kind of a close call thing. She was okay with just bruising, but shortly after, that's
puts
where
an end to that party quickly.
Well, that was when she was leaving.
Yeah. But that's all everybody remembers at the end. They go, remember when grandma fell?
Yeah. Who did the lighting? This guy did. He was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
They hated me for it. But, that's where shortly after, Pat, that's when me and you met, because I researched what is high-end lighting design, et cetera. I found ILI, which is the International Landscape Lighting Institute, and that's where me and you met way back in 17 or 18.
Yeah, but that's so powerful, that telling stories. And a lot of times you could tell stories, especially when you get to those hard things, when something that might be an uncomfortable conversation, you could lay it out in a story that people could relate to. Yeah. I have a number of, 50 different stories, but I use storytelling a lot. And I got that from the Tom Fennig, who helped train me in lighting sales. But it's everything from my wife one time was at her mom's house, and she reached on a door handle at the garage at night, and there's a little snake on the door. Ugh. And I was like, I've told that story 1,000 times, where the blood curdling scream that she lets out. And I, like, so many women I would be done. I wouldn't go outside at night. Yeah.
That'll get women to add more lights for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Create that emotional tie in with the customer, pull on their heartstrings, so to speak. Yeah. And what we did was we coined the phrase afterwards, once I learned about proper lighting design, was safe stepping. So now I introduce safe stepping into my vocabulary during the sales meetings. I'm doing everything I can to uplift my process and procedures and product, so I feel like I am the sole provider for them. In other words, I want to separate myself from the competition as much as I can to justify my price. So I tell them about this special thing we adopted, which is called safe stepping, where we really focus in on safety and security around the property and what we're going to do for them.
Yeah. And that's got to be built into it. You're going to come up with, like, and it is solving those problems. And a lot of times it's painting that picture so they understand exactly, what you're trying to do. And it's not just like, hey, a light's a light, and I'm just comparing this guy's warranty versus your warranty versus, one light here. It's like, the story of, like, as you age, your eyes actually are more receptive to light. And that's why, like, older people don't like driving at night. And so it's like, if I don't have glare guards on my lights as you come down the steps, that could shine right into your eyes and do the exact opposite of what we were trying to accomplish with lighting. So, those little details where a glare guard's $1, and I'm going to add that into all these. There's no cost to it, but it's the expertise of knowing, like, why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. And, painting a picture of success for the client may be bringing them samples, letting them feel and touch and hold things that you're selling. Yeah. And if you don't have samples, say it's a lawn care plan or something like that, or landscape maintenance, then bring your iPad and show them finished projects unique to their job.
Yeah. I'd say that's essential. You need to have your own photographs. Don't take from companies.
Right.
Get your own projects to say, I did this here, I did that there. And I bring my products, and I bring the most popular products out there. So I'll have, whatever, FX or Kitchler or whatever it is. I'll have a couple others and go, like, here's ones that you typically see in our area. Here's good things about them. I don't talk bad about my competitors. I don't even care about them. Right. I don't talk bad about, other products, but I'll just say, like, this is the issue that we saw, and this is what solved this issue, so you won't have to deal with whatever it's going to be. But letting that customer feel that. If you have something of quality, and I've had customers, like, walk around holding a path light the entire time, and it's like, they just like the feel of it and the heft of it and everything else. So people are very tactile in that sense.
Hell yeah. And when I was shopping leaf guards for my house, the salesman came in with a sample of his product or the company's product he's repping, and then another competitor. And he actually had me go over to the sink, which is on the kitchen island, and demonstrate. He showed me the way his product channels versus the competition. And the way they built their channels was it helped bring the water down faster, And that way it had the debris was able to float off easier. And that was just part of the sales presentation. That's important because you're showing how your product or service is better via handheld components or hopefully at least an iPad.
Yeah. But you go back to that illustration, like, that's great. It's channeling the water flow. What does that mean to you? And that's where you have to go. That's the feature and benefit. But what that means is you're not going to have water, rolling off the gutter and just draining down, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So it's like you get back into like, why are you doing this in the first place, and what is this problem, this feature and benefit? What problem is it solving?
Yeah. All right. So while we're talking the sizzle, don't forget the steak. Your steak has to be good. Pat's a big barbecue guru dude, so he's got to have a good steak when he walks in the door. After that,
every night.
So
I
know. So capturing the attention with the benefits, explain how your product delivers, briefly highlight key features that support the benefits. Selling the sizzle is crucial for grabbing attention and sparking interest. However, you got to have some substance behind what you're selling. So, make sure you have promises are like pie crust. Club Shay said, they're thin and they break easily, right? So you got to provide a brief overview of the key features that support the benefits you've emphasized. An example may be customized plans created specifically for your property, complimentary spot treatments, say in lawn care, for when you sign up on our, say, a Green Guard plan, which is your annual application plan. We'll provide you with complimentary follow-up treatments if you have an issue arise. And or let's say you're doing a plan or a project, well, then tell them you get discounts on anything else they sign up for later. So you're starting to promote that winning combination at that point.
And you don't overburden them with choices and options.
Okay.
I say that all the time because, at some point you overwhelm them. And if you start going like, if it's yard plans, like you could do X, X, and X, and this, and this, and this, or this. And eventually they're just going to go like, okay, well, let me think about everything you just dumped on me.
I know, mind F from hell.
Yeah. So then it's like, no, I'm the expert. This is what I would do if it were my house.
Yeah, and this is our custom recommendation for you, ma'am, sir.
We could adapt it or change it, but that gets into then you need a call to action. So in the sales process, time's not your friend. It's so easy where it's like, I've had customers where like 2 years go by and they call me back and be like, I meant to do that last spring. Is this estimate still good? I'm like, from 2 years ago? No.
Who's this again?
Yeah. So it's like, you want to have a call to action like, hey, first of all, the idea that I want to have with the customer is like, I'm going to do a lot of work, come up with a custom plan, do all this for you. The only thing I'm going to ask from you is like, once we get to the point, if I've given you all the information, you give me a yes or no. I don't really care what it is. Like, I'd love a yes. I'd love to work with you, but if it's no, that's okay. I don't want to spend time chasing you. You don't want to have me calling you, checking in once a week. Like, that's what if you're going to get 3 or 4 bids, like what's the next step? And so having that plan of action.
Yeah. And I think getting a no's okay. There's a sales technique, go for the no even, right?
Yeah.
Because they want a definitive answer right there face to face, because now he can overcome their objections possibly and save the sale, and that's a definite angle there too.
And I think, most of us, I'd say are nice guys. And there's always a saying that I go back to with my sales training where I'm like, you always talk to girls that say, it's always the jerks that I'm dating. And it's like, it's because the jerks are asking out 10 girls a night where the nice guys are standing on the side of the, side of the bar or whatever, not talking to anyone. And just having that ability to just ask for the order, like ask what you want. Like, I would like to go ahead and move forward with this. This would be a lot of fun. Would you want to go for it? Can we go ahead and sign this contract here? Let's get going.
All right.
But actually asking for it, not just like waiting for them to grab the proposal from you and ask you to sign it. Like, you need to ask, or you're not going to get it.
And make it pressing, so to speak. Put a seasonal deadline there. Like, oh gosh, I'm getting booked out. You better sign up because you won't be able to get your job in this season. Yeah, you got to put some kind of call to action, like if it's an incentive discount or a coupon you have. Maybe a neighbor referred this person, so you got neighborhood discounts going on. if they act by yada, yada. So,
and your best thing is always, we're busy. That's what I just met with a client on Friday. That's what I said, like, hey, right now we're about 10 days out. In 2 weeks, we're going to be a month out. And we're going to work like crazy to keep that down. But I don't want you calling me in a month and saying like, hey, we'll get you in sometime in May.
Right.
Where right now, if you say yes, I'll get you in maybe next weekend. You'll be sitting back enjoying these lights. But that's Christmas lightings. That taught me a lot. I hated Christmas lighting. But you're just naturally confined where someone calls up like Thanksgiving, like, I want to look at Christmas lighting. Like, great, we're taking orders for next year. We're booked.
There you go.
And it's like, oh,
that's
like, you really got to start looking in September.
Shallow window because they have to order product by damn August or something. But
but creating some urgency, like, and it's like for their benefit. Like, imagine I have an opening next Thursday. I could get you in here. You're not like the used car salesman barking around, but like, I have an opening Thursday. I get you in. Friday night you can have your friends over.
Right.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
We were always trained to don't discount your service. Change the service, change the, God dang, what am I looking for? The scope of work. So don't discount your pricing or rates, just decrease the scope of work. And that's what I always come back to clients who are trying to whittle their way down on my quote, and if instead of like giving away money, if they sign today, put a complimentary service behind the job, like
free maintenance plan,
free few visits for staining your deck or inspections for termites or whatever. Not termites. That's pretty expensive, but broadleaf type pests.
Yeah. Well, I had a customer recently and it was a $30,000 quote. And he's like, can you do it for 20? And I was like, if I said yes right now.
Is this Craigslist? What the fuck's going on here?
I was like, if I said yes right now and I could do this job for $20,000 and I was trying to get 30 out of you, I'm a dishonest person.
Exactly.
So like, if I had that much margin in it and I could still make money at 20, but I need to make money unless you're coming to my house and doing some work around my house. Like I can't go and, do it at that price because I'm losing money. And that's just a simple thing to say.
Hell yeah. And there's a thing called a loss leader service or product. So there's a lot of professional or successful companies out there that sell something and don't make much money on it on purpose. So that's their like lure in the ocean to draw in clients. And then they boom, hit them over the head with a big, bold service or product that they really want to sell.
Yeah.
So it's like cheap hot dogs up front, but guess what? The ketchup, mustard, and the beef tips on rice entree that we have in the back here is a lot more.
No, I know a big HVAC company and they do a $49 inspection.
Right.
But I know somebody that got that. They're like, it was $49, but then the quote to do everything was like $3,900. I'm like, well, they're making up for all those $49 inspections because they're not making any money on that.
Oh, hell no. That's lost leader shit.
Yeah. So call to actions, clearly state what the next steps are going to be. And I'll let them tell me. I'm like, what do you want to see happening next? I want this to be as easy as possible. You're going to get 3 more quotes. What happens if this goes on for like a month where it's like, you're still waiting to get a quote from someone, which is always a huge red flag. If somebody can't get a quote to you, try and get service from them down the road.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to get the big ticket item, what are they going to do on the free service?
We're also getting more tied up with other work that people are signing up for after we leave.
Yeah.
So they have to understand, hey, pricing and availability may not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. We're limited, and I don't want to be out there every Saturday and Sunday doing installs. So, we need some breaks and everything else, just like anybody else. So
we hope this helps you guys, sell that sizzle. That's a big part. It's like the horse and pony show you've always heard about. There's a big deal of this value building experience that customers have. And that starts with your website, your social media, how professional you are over the phone. It all starts there. And then at the end, when you're face to face, these sizzling type topics are going to help close the deal for you. And we can't wait for the next episode with you guys. And please comment on some what are your favorite sales tactics and methods that you guys use? And make sure to subscribe to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur Podcast on YouTube and listen to wherever you get your podcasts for sure. And we're going to have new content. We're out every Wednesday. So we can't wait to see you guys in the next podcast episode. See you guys.
All aboard!